I'm sorry. What? 46 degrees. Guys.
Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London. Why have you not got aircon on most of the transport in London?
This is just a PSA from an Australian who's been living in the UK for the last 7 years. What are we doing? And it sounds like I'm speaking in a wind tunnel because I have 1, 2, 3 fans on at the moment.
It's very hot in the UK at the moment, and this comes at a time when energy prices are very high. And I've seen a few people on TikTok worried about keeping their kids cool by having fans running all night simply because they're worried they can't afford it. So I thought I'd take a moment to do the maths.
Struggling to sleep in this UK heat? Ever feel like your house is hotter than the actual sun? UK homes weren't made for this kind of heat, and with high energy costs, cooling down isn't so simple. Let's take a look at how people are trying to survive this mad heat.
I'm sorry. What? 46 degrees. Guys. I currently am sat in my house with 29-degree heat, right? My house is warmer than outside, but it keeps raining on and off. The sun is not even shining where I am, but the humidity, I am literally sweating in places that I did not know that you could sweat from. And I can't deal with it. I've barely slept in 2 days because my child is that hot that she wants to sleep with me, and then she's sticky and sweaty and touching me, and I can't deal with it. My fan has also broken. I've got one on the way. I'm waiting for it to be delivered. It was supposed to be here 2 hours ago. Honestly, guys, please send help. 46 degrees.
It's not even July and Europe is cooking. France, UK, and the Netherlands all just had the first major heat wave of 2025. Roads are actually melting, festivals have been canceled, and amber alerts are going out like crazy. And experts say it's not the peak, it's just the beginning. If you're in Europe, drop your temperature and where you're located down below. And for those of you who think it's just summer heat, you're not paying attention.
Travelling around London in this heat is actual punishment. Packed tubes, no airflow, and sweat dripping before you even get to work. If this keeps happening every summer, why hasn't anyone added air conditioning to the trains yet?
I just had the worst experience of my life on the 108 bus. I'm bloody boiling here. I mean, it's free for a year to travel on it, which is fantastic. But it's not fantastic if I die. Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London. Why have you not got aircon on most of the transport in London? Sadiq, look at me. My shadow with my former self. I mean, this isn't a new thing. It's not like this is the first heat wave. You know, it's hot every year, and every year. Look at us. Look at the sweat. I haven't even gone through the menopause yet. God help me when I do. Just on the DL, I'm not going to write it. I'm going to die before I reach go church. How do you think everyone feels, Sadiq? Needing this tuna booty on the DLR in this heat? I'll tell you how they feel, Sadiq. The same way I feel when someone farts on the DLR in summer. It's the worst Dutch oven experience of my life. On behalf of people that live in London, I beg you, Sadiq Khan, give TfL air conditioning. Save us from all those armpits, from the heat, from the humidity, from those awful farts, and from people like me who like to eat tuna booties on the DLR.
Hello. Hola, Carlo. Hello.
She's debating whether getting aircon is a smart move or just throwing money away. Would you rather sweat it out or pay the price to stay cool?
Tell me why I am currently sat in my car sweating like a rotisserie chicken because I can't afford to get my aircon sorted, regassed. It needs regassing, but from what I've seen, it costs between 60 and 80 quid. And honestly, is it even worth it? I've heard it drinks your fuel anyway, so I just want to know, is anyone actually affording aircon this year in the car, or are we all just silently melting in traffic? Is it actually a waste of money, or is it something that you regret not sorting or you desperately feel you need. I remember when I bought this car and it was a really, really hot day like today when I test drove it, and I got in it and the man had the aircon on full blast and it was absolutely lovely. But when I test drove it, I was just constantly worrying that it was going to run out of fuel because it didn't have hardly any in the tank. So yeah, please let me know what you lot do. Are you suffering or are you spending? I desperately need opinions because I am about 2 degrees away from losing the entire plot. I am so fucking hot.
Anybody else needed a fun this weekend in the caravan? It has been so hot. Oh my gosh. It is so warm.
This woman points out it's not just the UK. Plenty of countries don't have air conditioning, and they still manage. What's your take on this matter?
If anyone's wondering how hot it actually is in the UK right now, well...
Spoiler alert, she had gummy bears melt in her glove box. Anyways, did you know that the majority of the world doesn't have air conditioning? Here are some cities in the Philippines and their current temperatures. Less than 10% of the population in the Philippines has air conditioning. Here's this week's forecast for the Ivory Coast. 83 degrees on Saturday? Well, that's considered a pleasant Saturday. But you know what the Ivory Coast is doing that the UK is not? Finding solutions for their heat problem. While most of the population currently doesn't have AC, it is becoming more popular to buy them. Burkina Faso is considered one of the hottest countries on earth. Less than 20% of the population has air conditioning. So when the UK tries to tell us that it's the worst in the world, they're forgetting about places like Africa, Southeast Asia, South America, and they're only focusing on the United States. Though, fun fact, did you know the United States is not the country with the most air conditioning? It's about 90% of homes in the US have AC, but Japan beats us with 91.
Okay, so we're not okay here in the UK. I'll tell you why we're not okay here in the UK, because this week and probably the next is going to be extremely hot. I'll go in Celsius because that's how we roll here, but it's going to be as high as 30 Celsius. If you work in Fahrenheit, you're looking at above 90. So we're not okay. And if you don't know, the majority of us Brits, in fact, I don't think anyone here in the UK has got air conditioning fitted into their homes. If they have, then they're doing blooming well for themselves. So you're probably wondering, well, what are we relying on? Well, I'll show you what we're relying on. And it's that. I was lucky to get that because I got that from a gym that I used to work at that was closing shop. So yeah, that is what we will have in our bedrooms when we're sleeping. I mean, that's a hurricane fan. Be lucky to get a desk fan. So yeah, that is what's keeping us cool when we're in our homes. So yeah, do say a little prayer for us.
When someone from a hot country says our heat is worse, you know it's serious. This Aussie now says sorry to Brits after feeling the UK heatwave herself, and she's stunned at how unbearable it is without aircon.
This is my formal apology to everyone from the UK who was complaining about it being really hot in the summer, and I was like, no, it can't be that bad surely. Like, in Australia it's hot all the time, like you guys don't know. No. The heat here. I'm actually dying. I actually feel like a roasted sweet potato every time I get on public transport here. Like, I actually cannot. It's fucked. Like, they weren't being dramatic, guys. It's fucked. The UK is not built for this. There's no AC anywhere. I don't know how I'm sleeping at night, honestly. You've been warned. It's fucked, guys.
This is just a PSA from an Australian who's been living in the UK for the last 7 years. What are we doing? And it sounds like I'm speaking in a wind tunnel because I have 1, 2, 3 fans on at the moment. My weather app's saying that it's 26 degrees, feels like 25. My fan's saying it's 30. I just want to ask, what are we doing? Because I've been here for 7 years, and every year, without fail, there has been summer, and it has been fucking shocking. What are we doing? When are we changing air conditioning unit or something? It happens every year.
UK homes are built to trap heat. Great in winter, but a nightmare in summer. Do you think air conditioning should be standard in new builds, or is that going too far for a few hot weeks?
air conditioning in the UK. So I've seen quite a few posts from people being like, why doesn't the UK just install air conditioning? So I'm Lacey, a Brit living in Orange County in Southern California, and I just wanted to kind of wade in on this debate, because if you have ever lived or been in the UK in the height of summer, you will understand if you are inside a building. I'm not talking about outside heat. We've all been, you know, I've been to Dubai when it's 40 degrees. I'm talking about inside heat, okay? Our houses are built to retain heat because it is cold in the UK for like most of the year. And in order to save on central heating costs, we insulate our houses really heavily, especially new build houses. So when people are saying, why don't you just install air conditioning in the UK? There's a few things that you need to think about. One, to install air conditioning in a standard 3-bedroom house, you're looking at around about £40,000. We are not going to do that to all the new build properties in the UK. So every time we build a house, we're not going to put air conditioning in it to use it for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of the year. It's just something that we're not going to do. It's a massive additional cost when our housing costs are already extremely high. So we're just not going to do that. And then to install it in a house already. So I asked my husband, how much do you think it would cost, he works in construction, to install air conditioning in like a standard 3-bed house in the UK? He was like, to go through floorboards, walls, you're looking at around about £40,000. It's a big job. So I have a friend near the Valley in Los Angeles. She actually had her air conditioning redone, and that cost her $25,000. So then I have people saying, well, just buy a portable air conditioning unit. Okay, so where do you want me to store that portable air conditioning unit for the other 47 weeks of the year that I'm not using it? We live in tiny houses in the UK. Lots of places don't have any storage or any garage, for example. And so, yeah, there's like not really anywhere to store it. Also our windows. So I, for example, lived in a renovated flat. It used to be a pub, a really, really old pub from hundreds of years ago. And then it was renovated into a flat or an apartment. And I had sash windows. So again, not so simple to just install air conditioning. I don't think that people who are commenting being like, well, just install air conditioning in the UK, realize how much it would cost to install air conditioning for 70 million people in the UK. So the UK fits into California 1.5 times, and there are 70 million people. I think it's like 67 million people in the UK. It's just not reasonable. That is why we do not have air conditioning. It's not about anything other than cost and convenience of where the hell we would store air conditioning units. If and when we move back to the UK, I probably will buy an air conditioning unit. But for a lot of people, that is just absolutely not reasonable.
Constantly getting ripped off. Seriously, why is everything so expensive in the UK right now? This is beyond a joke. I can't get over the price of these. I picked up this one on TikTok Shop, so much cheaper than that. I paid literally, I didn't even pay $54.99 because I used the voucher. Super cheap. Free shipping and arrived in 2 days. This is absolutely banging. You put water in it, acts like an air conditioning unit and cools your whole room down. It's got different speeds, timer, it spins, cooler, wind. You can even put it on a night setting. It's brilliant.
A New Yorker says it's just British summer. But even with their own heatwave coming, they still feel bad for the UK. When someone from a sweltering city pities our summer, you know it's not just about temperature. It's about how unprepared we really are.
So here in New York, we are getting ready for a heat wave, but I was reminded today that it is also British summer. Happy British summer to all who celebrate. If you don't know what British summer is, it's what everyone else on Earth calls summer, but British people call a freak heat wave that never happens, but only is happening right now once in a lifetime. And so they could not have possibly been prepared for it, even though it has happened every single year since I have been on social media. So at least the last 15 years. Maybe not before then, because, you know, climate change, but for a very long time, they have a summer that is very hot, and they don't have AC for it because they are convinced it never happens, even though it definitely does happen every single year. And the rest of us get to listen to them complain about it and tell them that they should have prepared for it, and then them tell us that there was no way they could have prepared for it because, again, this never happens, even though it happens every single year. So happy British summer, everybody. Stay cool.
If there's one thing I love more than Octopus Energy, it's my solar panels. Let me show you this. So we've just had our statement through. Last month we used £38.61 of electric and we used £14.75 of gas. We made £53.77 from our solar panels. Thank you, British Weather. Which actually equated to, at the top there, 41 pence. So even though we paid £100 at the end of last month, we were only charged 41p. So we're now £300 in credit on the account. Now, we didn't pay for our solar panels. They were already on the house when we bought it. So this is just pure profit for us. But if you are thinking about buying solar panels, then this was what you would have made roughly in the last 4 weeks. So this is how much we've exported so far this month. This was May and this was April. And for context, the house is south facing and this is how many panels we have. So yeah, if you were thinking about solar panels or even switching to Octopus, let me know if you've got any comments or questions about how they work, and I'll do my best to answer them. Bye!
This guy breaks down the electricity costs using simple math. It's a valuable reminder to check what your appliances are really costing you, and you might be surprised.
It's very hot in the UK at the moment, and this comes at a time when energy prices are very high. I've seen a few people on TikTok worried about keeping their kids cool by having fans running all night simply because they're worried they can't afford it. So I thought I'd take a moment to do the maths. I recognise this might be the most boring thing ever put on this platform. It's a standard fan sold in the UK. You'll find the same one in every supermarket, and if you look on the bottom of it, it will tell you that it is 60 watts. That's its power. Pen and paper, tools out. We know that the standard UK fan is around 60 watts. If we're going to be running it from 8 PM till 8 AM, that's 12 hours. And the average electricity cost today in the UK is 27.1 pence. Now that's for the southwest where I live. Get charged for our electricity in kilowatt hours. So some people won't know how to do this conversion. So you take the 60 watts, turn it into kilowatt hours, that's 0.06. Then you've got to work out how many hours it's run, which is 12 hours. So the kilowatt hours rate, that which you get charged, will be 0.72. Once you know the kilowatt hours is 0.72, you can work out cost per night. So the cost per night is 0.72 times the average price for electricity, which is 27.1 pence per kilowatt hour, which gives you 19.5 pence per night, or £1.36 per week to keep your fan running. That's not the whole story. Because in October we're due to get a price rise, and then the price will go up to 49.3 pence per kilowatt hour. What does that do to a night running a fan? You're using the same amount of energy, 0.72 kilowatt hours, but the new cost is 49.3 kilowatt hours. Multiply those together, you now get 35.4 pence per night, or £2.48 per week, just to keep a fan running in your child's room.
Did we all sleep on last night? No. Some of you commented on my video what you're doing to get through the heatwave or the heatwave hacks, and I just thought I'd rank them. 2 fans, 1 spray bottle, 0 out of 5. Check in though, because I just want to make sure you made it through the night. This reminds me of my grandma talking about things that they did during World War II. White Ziploc bag. I feel like we're all soaking wet with sweat anyway. Getting a bit of soggy flannel on you is not going to be too bad. To be honest, I might try it later. 4 out of 5 for the effort. 5 out of 5 if it works. That just doesn't feel like enough. 1 out of 5. Does that even work? I feel like that's just going to make the floor really wet. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for effort and possible science, but I think that might be delusion. To be honest, I'd love more of these. The least effective, the better. What is the most unhinged or delusional thing that you've done to get through the heatwave? I really want to hear more, so chuck them in the comments because I will not be moving today, so I need this.
Is this the new normal for British summers, or just a rough patch we'll forget by next year? Either way, it's clear we need to start thinking differently about how we live with heat. If you found this video relatable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.